Hey guys, this is Hades, and this is another Raid Shadow Legends video. So today I'm going to be doing a full guide on Fellhound, who is a Void rare. Fellhound is probably someone that a lot of people just got over the last weekend where we had the double Void summons, so I figured I'd just get my one leveled up and start to show what he's capable of doing. So let's get into it. So my Fellhound, I've leveled up to 60, I've fully ascended. I have thrown a load of books at him, so he is fully geared, fully ready to go. I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that you could build him, and I'm going to show you how he deals with certain bits of content in the game. He's relatively unusual in terms of his kit, but pretty decent. So let's take you through his kit first. In terms of skills, then his A1 is Ravage, attacks all enemies, which is really important here. So it's an AoE ability. It's got a 25% chance, but when booked goes up to 35% chance of placing a decreased speed. It's a smaller version of that. It's not amazing. The thing which I like about him is all his damage is based on defense and attack combined. So you can build him one or two ways, and the better way is always to build someone like this defensively, because that way you have survivability as well. But the cool thing about it being defense and attack is that there's not a single stat that you can put on this guy where he doesn't benefit from it. So you know when you look at some pieces of gear and they're kind of a mishmash of defense and attack and all that sort of stuff, well, this guy would benefit from any stat that you put on him. So that's quite cool. If we look at his A2, once he is fully ascended, he gains this reflect damage part, but he doesn't get it at the start. But yeah, he's got the chance of putting, or his A2 puts a small heal on all allies for 2 turns, just like the half version of like a bad L heal, and it also puts up a reflect damage buff. That in itself is not very powerful, doesn't hit very hard, but it is pretty cool for places like Fireknight, which I'll show you a bit later on. And this is probably where he excels. It's on a 2-turn cooldown, so buff up for 2 turns on a 2-turn cooldown basically means you've got 100% uptime on this ability. And then he's also got this A3, which just throws a block damage buff on an ally for a turn. So, I mean, it's not amazing, but it's kind of different, I guess. But the main things I like about him is AoE hit, which hits hard, and this here, reflect damage. It does have an aura. It's only for faction crypts, but I guess you might be able to use him there if you need an aura. It is a defense aura, so that's good. It's better than most of the auras that you're going to have for faction crypts. So this is what I've done initially. I've built him as a campaign farmer. So I've gone heavy crit rate, near enough 100%. I've gone high crit damage, and that's pretty much all you need to do. Heavy crit rate, high crit damage, and then he can be your campaign farmer. So how have I got to that? I have gone with... I've got decent gear on him here. You don't have to have quite as crazy gear. I've seen people have him as a campaign farmer, probably with about an extra, maybe 30% less than this. Or you could go a different way and have him running over 200 speed and get 2 hits in for every 1 hit from the mobs. Therefore, you kind of need less damage but more speed. But this is the way I've done it. So I've got good gear on him. I've got some cruel gear with good crit rate rolls. I've just got then standalone crit rate, crit damage. Crit damage gloves with crit rate on them, set of defense chest with some speed, crit rate and crit damage, and then crit rate, crit damage in the boots with speed. So all of this kind of just chunks out crit rate, crit damage, every single item. We've then got a crit damage amulet on him. I've got an accuracy banner just for that decreased speed, and I'll show you what that does a bit later on. And then I've actually got him in an HP ring, just because it was the one that was already rolled. I'd rather it was a defense ring with some different subs, but this is actually quite nice anyway for decent substats. So in terms of masteries then, again, this is for a campaign farmer, this build. So I've gone crit rate into crit damage, into more damage when you're at full health, into more speed once you're starting to kill people, into higher damage on your first hit. Then we've gone into reset ability. This is mainly for dungeon content. This one goes into more damage the more people you kill for the whole entire counter, which basically means as you get to that third wave, your damage would have increased by 12%. Then it goes into a little shield, but I just want to get to this, so I'm going into extra crit damage. I've then gone accuracy tree, into sniper, into book, into increased chance to land my debuffs. This again is mainly for my dungeon stuff. If I was going pure campaign farm and that's all he was for, I would have gone defense tree and built up more defense, because more defense means he hits harder. So I would have just gone probably down this line here. Or maybe down this line into here. So, but all about getting an extra bit of defense, because that's going to make me hit harder. So if I just do a review on him then, I think spiders, he is, let's see what we've got here. I don't get that, 4.8. I suppose he can lay a slow on the spider, which is useful. He does an AoE hit, which is useful. I guess maybe earlier level spider. If you're kind of up to level 14, he could be pretty useful. I think after 14 he drops off massively, so I would give him a 3, maybe a 4, probably a 3 though. Campaign, I think he's fantastic. It's definitely a sort of 6 to 7 second campaign farmer when he's built right. Fireknight, he is top tier for a rare, and I'll get onto that in a while. Arena, he could be useful. But I think he's probably not useful enough. Clan boss is not his thing. Arena again, defense even worse. I'd say it's probably not his thing. Minnow he can do pretty comfortably. Ice golems, I'd say he's useful, but he's not super strong. Probably a 3. Dragons, same sort of thing really. It'll help you through the waves. Bit more useful in dragons than he is in ice golems, I think. And then all of the keeps, he's kind of decent. It'll help you sort of farm through them at a decent rate. He doesn't bring any kind of decreased defense or reduced healing or anything like that. So he's mainly just there for wave control. But yeah, that is his ratings. So let's try him out. Let's try him out in a few bits of content. So I'm going to start with the campaign. So that's how I got him built. We're going to try the same build in dungeons, and then I'm going to switch his build out. So I've got him as my lead. We're in 12-3 on brutal, and you'll see here he is pretty effective because he always does his A1 first. A1 crack, see you later. A1 boom, see you later. A1 smack, see you later. 6 second farm, and that is totally consistent. If we watch it again, I didn't get a crit. I think I've got 97% chance to crit, so shows you need 100, doesn't it? And that's the first time I've seen him not crit. But you see there, so he just kind of cruises his way through the wave. I guess I'm going to get 1 in every... I need to change his gear actually. I can't believe he's not critting now. Because that's just annoying. That slows your wave down. So it shows actually how important 100% to crit is. But yeah. So he is a very, very effective campaign farmer, and probably as effective once he's built right as a bellower or a skull crown. So yeah, all I would do to my build here, is clearly I don't have quite enough, is I would get that extra 3% crit rate here, and then maybe I'd just add a bit more in stats here. So if I built this, my other bits of gear out to full, and then found something which just gave me a tiny bit more crit rate on my gear, then like here maybe I'd find a pair of boots with an extra couple of %, then this would be a perfect build for him. So that's him in campaign. So I'm going to show you the same build for him in dragons before I then switch out his gear and show you a different idea for him. So let's get my speed team off. And throw something else in. So we can go in with similar sort of teams to what I've shown you before. We've got Apothecary, Kale. Bellower comes in for my damage. We need my War Maiden in to decrease defense. We need Reliquary Tender in to cleanse. And I think probably speed up. Or maybe a Cold Heart in there for some damage. So more War Maiden's in stun gear, which kind of gives me some control. I guess probably I need Apothecary, yeah. So you see here that the purpose of Fellhound in this setup is to protect my team and to do damage. He's there for his A1 hit, really. So he does take a bit of a hit in this current build because I've got him built very offensively, which could potentially put him in trouble. But I do have Reliquary in here to pick people up. And then obviously Apothecary's in there for the heals as well. So this isn't the quickest team in the world, but it is a strong team. So, you know, if you're thinking about, I can't get through Dragon 20 and I've only got a bunch of rares, yeah, some of them are pretty well geared, but they're not actually insanely geared, these guys. And I could easily swap out, I could put epics in place of a few of these to speed runs up easily. But the idea here is just to kind of show you what he looks like in a rare team. And again, at the moment, this is a build which is all about him coming in and doing a bit of damage for me. It's not about him coming in and kind of doing, which I think would be his better role, more of a kind of control element. Because actually, see, he's going down a couple of times. He's probably not in the right gear. But I was just thinking, can I use him in his campaign farm gear in something like this and still get some value from him? The answer is he's actually probably not got enough defense going on. So, Mikhail's struggling as well. Keep him alive, people. So you see, normally I've got my Bellower and War Maiden doing control. You see what happens when you just kind of lose one element of that control, then you start to lose some of your members. And you'll see in a minute when I switch him out into stun gear how much easier this fight becomes. Because then I've got two people doing the AoE stun potential instead of just War Maiden. And ultimately the waves in this fight are probably harder than the actual boss part of the fight. So we're going to pick Kale up. He's going to drop again. That's really annoying. I wanted him up for the main fight. But yeah, we'll rotate the steals again. We're getting back round. You're not seeing much of Fellhound other than him sitting on the floor right now. I still don't think there's a danger of me not winning the fight. But I could do with some healing on him. There we go. So KO is the person who wins this stage of the fight. Felhound actually doesn't bring a lot to the boss encounter anyway, so he's definitely not really in the gear we want for Dragon. This gear for him for Dragon is not the best. He's back on his feet. Here we go. He's come for the sort of final stage of the fight. Got a hit in at least. But yeah, pretty much whenever you put somebody in for Dragon, your ideal mastery would be that he's got War Master or Giant Slayer. So him having crit rate damage mastery here, which is kind of the campaign farmer build, doesn't really bring a lot to this part of the Dragon. And you see here we're struggling now to get through that purple bar because we've not got enough damage going through. Should change now, so we've got quite good healthy poisons going on. But it's going to end up being a bit of a slow run for the Dragon. But still will be a successful run. So you see here there's a bunch of ticks that come on from that reflect damage. It doesn't hit hard, it hits for literally like a couple of thousand or so. So reflect damage at the moment is quite underpowered. But it is useful for encounters like Fireknight, which I'll show you soon. So we're going to get through this. I'm going to change his masteries and his gear, and then we're going to see him in a different way. So let's get into that. So that build is campaign farmer. Let's just understand that. This build is campaign farmer. Let's re-roll it to be a support person for dungeons. So when I go into War Master, that's where the damage comes from. I want to build him tankier, get more defense, reduce the damage he takes from enemies, get myself some extra turn meter if someone's hit with a crit, give myself a chance to counter attack with that A1, that's important. What else do I want on here? Probably want, not that one, probably this one, maybe this one. This one actually. So we've got 2 people that can lay stuns. It gives us a chance to put leeches out. This probably is not bad either, depending on who you're partnering with, or this one's quite good as well. So we'll go with this one. So yeah, so what I'm going to do then is jewelry is probably okay. I'd rather have a defensive style amulet on him. So this one is probably better than what we're wearing right now. Don't need the crit damage for this build. And then we're going to find some stun gear. Let me just see if I've already pulled it off Bellower. No, I'm going to take this off of my Bellower. Oh, it's got attack on it. Should maybe just see what I've got already in the bolts. So basically what I want is defensive style gear. Resistance, defense, here we go. So defense on the chest. Ideally defense as well on the gloves. Crit rate's not terrible though actually. And again, because he can benefit from defense or attack, I can put pretty much any piece of gear on him that will still be useful. Do still want to keep some speed going on him. Let's have a look what we've got here. Speed crit rate's quite good, we'll do that. Speed boots are actually pretty good already, so 1, 2, 3, I need 1 more piece. Don't want to lose my speed there, so I think I'm going to go crit rate gloves, but I'd rather have defense gloves. Maybe we go with this and just find some gloves somewhere else. So ideally I have a defense set, which is defense gloves, defense boots. It's going to be quite slow if I do that, but it will keep them alive a lot longer. So stun set, defense set, it's pretty slow. Let's see how this goes. His masteries are now changed, his setup is completely changed, it's more like 3.5k defense, and then let's throw him into that same dungeon again. And we'll see what difference it makes to the way this kind of wave control works. So you see here we've got less damage, that's the thing to be aware of. Less damage coming out. But if they focus him now, they shouldn't be able to kill him anywhere near as easy. They probably won't focus him now, actually. But you see there, 1, 2, 3 stuns off from his AoE hits. See the difference there already? That number of stuns is kind of killer by itself. They're going after my Kale now instead of him. But we're in much less danger here. Much less danger with this just one kind of person change build. And we're actually still doing reasonable hits with him. So, I mean, he does quite a lot of his utility through the waves. He doesn't do his A1 as much as you might want, versus when he's in the sort of campaign farm and he's kind of doing it all the time. But yeah, so we cleared that wave, no problems at all. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 stuns off there from the War Maiden. Brilliant. And he's kind of constantly keeping this buff up. And again, we're not in any sort of danger here of now losing this fight. Whereas the first time round, actually, it was a bit hairy at times. If we look here, 1 stun off there. Oh, that's a big hit. Nobody's dropping apart from them. Heal's coming in, and yeah, we're going to get through to the dragon much quicker, and with a 5-man team up. You see that? Two people in stun sets makes this so easy, even with rares. And the stun sets are not amazing sets. And then at this stage, we should be pretty much plain sailing here. We're just relying on poisons from Kale, and yeah, nice big hit of poisons. That should get us past the purple barrier. And with this team set up, we've just got so much utility going on that there's no worries really. So I'd imagine the way we're chunking it down, we'll probably end up hitting around 3 minutes. But again, having War Master on him when you're at this sort of level is really important. So the hits that do go in, you've got a chance to get that extra 40 odd K damage on the dragon. And equally, when you're going through the waves, that extra kind of War Master proc really makes a difference for you. So we're at what, 240 now. Could do a few more chunky old poisons, please, Kale. Oh, we didn't quite get through the purple bar there, but we're not really in any problems. It's got too much kind of utility for this team to fail. And yeah, going to be just over the 3-minute mark, which I think for a team of rares is not bad. I'd be quite happy with that. Crappy pair of boots. So let's see what he's like in Fireknights. This is probably where he brings the most utility. I am going to do a full video on Fireknights this week, probably tomorrow actually. Yeah, so we're going to go Apothecary lead, gives us that defense lead. Fellhound in here, reduced defense, bit of damage, and Reliquary in shield set. So it's just going to kind of benefit of that shield at the start, because these guys can do quite a lot of damage. Hoping that we get a couple of stuns as we go. Got one off there. And same sort of thing really, we're just trying to control the waves. These guys hit hard, so we're trying to make sure we get the healing off and try and keep people alive. Obviously I've got Reliquary there to pick people up and Apothecary there to kind of maintain the heals, but it is tough. Getting through these waves at level 20 is tough, and you know, Fellhound is kind of there to do a bit of damage but also just to add the support. But you see here we're kind of coming up to getting through wave 1, keeping those stuns going off. These cold hearts are taking a pounding, but we should just pick her back up again, ready for the next wave. And at that stage we get a reset of the shield as well. The shield comes back on everyone, and yeah, the ideal is a couple of stuns off, great, from the War Maiden, and hopefully we get another one off here from my Felhound on this turn. Got one. So you see Cold Heart's down again. Get back up, Cold Heart, do some work. But yeah, the main thing is just get your way through these waves so you can get onto the boss fight and give yourself a chance. But it's tough. You know, there's not many teams that'll be running through this in rares. I'd say it's a tough dungeon. It's probably the hardest dungeon actually, in terms of actually getting a sort of consistent team. You're reliant a lot on RNG as well to do this well. So looks like we're going to be going though into the main boss fight with full health, full team, and you'll see here now Felhound kind of brings the support level at this stage. So what's really important, you've got somebody that brings a heal reduction, which is your Cold Heart. You have someone that brings decreased defense, which is your War Maiden, and then you have kind of multi-hit A1ers to get rid of this shield. But Felhound's also brilliant at getting rid of the shield, so his reflect ability, like this, let's just slow it down there. Did he put it up there? Maybe he didn't. I thought he just put it up. So he puts up that reflect ability. He didn't do it then. I don't know why he didn't do it. Which is there. So see that reflect? Every time the main boss goes to hit you now, this reflect activates and it will basically get rid of one layer of the shield for everybody that's got this up. So you'll see next time it activates how that's going to work. And we're able to keep it up basically all the time. So what happens is you get 5 ticks off of the boss's kind of main shield straight away, providing we've got it up in time. So we've only got it up on 2, but you see there 2 ticks straight off of the shield. And again, it's kind of RNG based. So sometimes you get 2 ticks. Hopefully, most of the time you'll get 5. And if you get 5 ticks off, then it makes the fight so much easier. But we're just kind of chunking some damage on, keeping that heal reduction on from the Cold Heart, which is really important. So you see here, I'll take it off auto for a second, slow it down. We've got all 5 up. The shield's about to come back on. Let's watch how his shield comes back on. So instead of 10 hits, he hits us all. We take a pounding, and he's straight down to 5. Straight down to 5. So we've only got 5 layers to get through now instead of the full 10, which is much easier when you're trying to fight your way through this boss. So Fellhound brings that, and he's pretty unique. There's not many that bring that in this game. Certainly for a rare level, and bringing this hill at the same time, it's just kind of all flows together nicely. And we're going to end up probably, I don't know, with like a 4.5 minute run. It would be much less than that. Obviously, I've been pausing it and stuff, so it'd probably be more like a 4-minute run. But having that kind of shield reduction down so early just makes it so much easier. So this is where he excels, I'd say. Campaign farmer or doing this. And it's one of the alternatives to not having like a counter-attack team or something like that. He's not really good in Clan Boss. Could be okay, I guess, in the arena, but that's not where I'm going to show him today. I think I've shown him in the 2 places that he kind of does best. So yeah, that is my guide on Fellhound. Hope it's been helpful. This is Hell Hades, signing out.